I've quit 3 addictions including social media, overthinking, and food addiction, and now I will show you how I did this by using different techniques and approaches. And let's begin with the most ruthless, social media. Why it is the most ruthless? Because your addiction depends not only on yourself, but also on the people behind the big corporations like Apple, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, etc. I personally was addicted to Instagram and YouTube. God bless, I never had TikTok. But does it mean I was any better than any other TikTok addict? Absolutely not. Because Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts are just made to look the same as TikToks. And they are made for the same purpose, to keep you scrolling. I even deleted Instagram for 6 months in 2023, but installed it just months ago. Why? The one thing I realized is that if I delete Instagram, I become addicted to YouTube. So the apps are not the only problem. There is a way to stop scrolling addiction without deleting the apps themselves. And the first way to stop any addiction is to stop feeling guilty about it. It's not what you're doing that is the problem. It's your internal relationship to it that is the problem. Actually, guilt for any obsessive behavior is not only related to social media. I personally experienced guilt for procrastination, overthinking, and overeating. And this guilt not only blocked me from stopping my bad habits, it also wrecked my self-esteem. So for me, the easiest way to stop being guilty is journaling. Put your thoughts on paper. Read them through. Reflect. Why are you feeling guilt? When you most often feel it? I often felt guilt when I kinda started overcoming my addiction, but on a single occasion, I succumbed to the temptation again. Then it seemed like I betrayed myself and everything had to start from scratch. But I was wrong. The next time you feel guilty, just remind yourself of this. If you take 3 steps forward and 2 back, you're still 1 step ahead. Don't be guilty for breakdowns, because guilt leads to more obsessive behavior. Also, social media has no end clue. What is an end clue? When you read a magazine or a book, it has the last page, the end cue. Unlike books, social media never has the end clue. It is scrolling with no end. Moreover, it gives you a glimpse of the next image or video to keep you engaged in scrolling. Understand that no one will stop you but yourself. Awareness is half the solution. Any addiction results from within. Here's my most frequent triggers to check social media. I'm anxious and procrastinate. I avoid conflict, I have nothing to do, I have too much to do. I avoid difficult tasks that require more focus and concentration. I'm bored, feeling unchallenged. I have an obsessive personality. Every addiction is an escape from reality. You won't end your addiction without fixing your reality or your attitude to it. We all sometimes feel bored and unmotivated, but you need to find other solutions to boredom, not social media. It can be journaling, doodling, sports, going for a walk, etc. Here's what I did to stop my scrolling addiction. Go on social media intentionally. For example, when you go on YouTube, before opening the app, stop and ask yourself, what do I want to learn from YouTube right now? Do I want to watch something for entertainment? Do I want to watch something for education? Not just scroll for the sake of scrolling. Search for what you need to stop the infinite scrolling. Set a timer. You can allocate 1 hour of your day to enjoy scrolling, but not more. If you do this, you will be conscious about where your time is going and how much you scroll. Notice the times when you're most triggered to scroll, or for that matter, to indulge in any obsessive behavior or in any of your addictions. Journal about it. Write down the time. Write down what you're doing, in what environment you are, what you're feeling, and what you are going to do, what you desire to do. Because your addiction may not be what you genuinely desire to do. Maybe you want to do something hard harder but more rewarding than easy scrolling. Think carefully about how you spend your life, because people often spend their lives chasing things that are neither as desirable nor as important as they seem. For example, I found myself wanting to scroll when I felt like I'm doing an uninteresting activity, or my schedule is just blank and I have nothing to do except just go on my phone and scroll social media. If you're quitting social media or any specific app, write a list of benefits, for example, of YouTube and its drawbacks. What this app gives you that is positive and what is negative. Also, write potential consequences of quitting the app, and on the flip side, the potential consequences of not quitting the app or the habit of scrolling. It's been proven many times that humans would rather avoid pain than go for pleasure. So if you set for yourself the vision of what would happen if you didn't quit the app, rather than what would happen if you did quit the app, you would rather be afraid of the bad consequences. Also, think about your ideal self, what she or he does. How much per day does she or he scroll? And also, you can interrupt the pattern, so every time you feel the trigger to scroll, do something else, something that is a zero regret activity. In brief, zero regret activities is something that you won't regret doing anyway. For example, eating healthily, or going for a walk, or doing a workout, or talking to a friend, or whatever you might come up with. And the last tip I have for you is to replace bad habits or addictions with good ones. What do I mean by this? For example, you spend too much time scrolling per day. You can replace this time by doing something useful, for example, learning something, reading, doing sport, and usually something effortlessly becomes your addiction again. For example, for me, right now, it is sport. But you know what? Because it's a good addiction, I don't do it 24/7. If it's a good addiction, then you will not want it too much. But if it's something so easy like scrolling social media, you can easily do it all day round. But guys, be careful when you replace your bad addictions with good ones, because the second addiction I will talk about is food addiction, which actually at first seemed like a good one. So it all started from a seemingly healthy obsession in 2022. I just wanted to eat healthily and to be a healthy person. I wanted my diet to be perfect. So I started changing my diet. I quit sugar first, then bread, meat, and then I'm glad my parents stopped me. Because otherwise, I don't know, I would probably eat nothing. In case I ate an ice cream or a croissant, I needed to burn the calories. And this guilt for eating something bad was eating me up. After months of limiting myself, I realized that it was not healthy at all. I was also obsessing over sport. Sport for no reason and for no goal, other than being skinny, even though I never was fat. And this obsessive behavior, for example, limiting yourself or eating too much of food or doing too much of sport, grows to that extent where you no longer enjoy the activity itself. I realized that limiting myself was not healthy. Do you think it was the end? Nope. The second vicious cycle I had was when I started binging. Now I allowed myself to eat everything, and eating kinda became my hobby. It's terrible, I know, but in case you are struggling with such addictions, don't hold it within yourself. Tell it to somebody, to your mom, to your psychologist, to your friends. Write me a comment under this video and no one will judge you. Because until I told someone that I am experiencing this, no one helped me. If I lived by myself without my parents, I don't know what would have happened then. So find someone to talk to, because addictions is a psychological problem too. So I had a long way to heal my food addiction, but little by little I did it. How? I first realized that my attitude to food was kind of wrecked. And then I realized that eating what I love, no matter how healthy or unhealthy it is, in moderation, is normal. Gradually, I stopped feeling guilty for occasional pieces of cake or candies. And lastly, I started eating not out of boredom or emotions or problems, but out of hunger, out of our natural human desire to eat. Food is our fuel, that's all. We eat to live, not live to eat. And overthinking. It doesn't seem like an addiction at first. It's just a few negative thoughts here and there, maybe nightmares, some guilt, worry, and fear. But as you start overthinking more and more, it just stops you from enjoying anything in your life. You start seeing only the negative. You're now cynical and skeptical. So what I did to stop overthinking, notice when you overthink. I know it's sometimes hard because our human brains have several thousand thoughts per day, and most of them are just repeated from yesterday. Try to journal about it when you feel the frustration, what caused it, what you were doing, what you were feeling, etc. And please don't deal with your overthinking by scrolling, overeating, or whatever addictions are there. See you in the next video.